This is the 27th try here. Go.
I'm on my way home from my retirement party. And as I put my spouse's walker into the car, I tweak my back. And then I wonder, is this going to be, am I going to retire? Or am I just going from working into caregiving? It's a big question.
It's a big question. Something that everybody needs to think about. Because if there's a age gap difference, just like there is with our marriage, obviously Rob retired, 15 years before me probably. And
You don't know?
well, I haven't retired yet, so it just depends. It could be 20.
Okay.
You never know. But anyways, so what happens if you retire, but your spouse is, I wouldn't say disabled, but needs care? Whether it be a walker, whether it be more serious care, maybe in-home care. What happens if you retire and the day you retire, your next job is taking care of your spouse?
And remember now, there's an age gap here. So this is things that you should have thought about earlier.
Yes.
You probably in the back of your mind knew that this time was coming, and it's this. Say she retires when she's 65. I'm 80. Depending on how my health is and my spirit, my accent, my mobility, she may be facing a period of where she gets absolutely no retirement. Think about it. No cruises, no long vacations, it's just you've entered a caregiving situation. So she has gone from working to caregiver. Now, is that right? I mean, is that fair? And these are things that you should have thought about years ago. So to try to prevent that, what do you do to try to prevent that from happening?
Yeah, you have to, hopefully it doesn't happen, but you have to do everything you can to prevent that from happening and to stay as healthy as you possibly can, both of you.
Let's look to the, let's go way back to when you should have had these conversations. You don't want to be thinking about this all the time. I mean, you want to be able to enjoy your retirement. So the things that you need to set into place is like your funeral, all the end of life stuff. I don't even really like to talk about it. You have to visit it from time to time. Say, where am I going to be buried at? Where's she going to be buried at? Is that taken care of? All the end of life stuff. How is she going to maneuver on if I pass away, and vice versa?
Right.
And so once you visit those and once you get them straightened out, honestly, you don't really need to think about it anymore. So you can just kind of concentrate on
living your life. Right.
Being vigorous
Right.
and energetic and full
Right.
of life, right?
Right.
Because the older one, you need to embrace try to develop a younger spirit, right? And the younger one needs to be patient with the older one.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right. You know, and the tables could turn. I mean, it could be a different scenario. The older person could be retired, whether it's the husband or the wife, could be retired, and something happened to the younger one to where they had to be taken care of. Well, then that older person's retirement is completely different than what they thought it would be. So it can go both ways. Hopefully it doesn't go either way, but just things you got to think about. I mean, early on in your relationship, you have to make the big decisions as far as end of life. You need to make a will. We did that. You may have to adjust it over the years depending on your kids or whatever you're dealing with, but those things have to be set in place and let it go. I mean, live your life. We don't spend any time worrying about end of life. Rob's going to live to be 100. He's said it since the day I met him, and I have no doubt that he won't. He's going to live to be 100. But that's his thinking. That's his mind frame.
Yeah. So you need to be able to answer this question, and honestly, like sitting right here in these chairs, if this brick wall would fall over, and it would render her disabled, period. Say she was bedridden from this moment forward, what would be my reaction to that? I will take care of her from now on, period. Now, I knew that. I said it when I met her. I meant it, and I mean it today. No matter what happens, I will be her caregiver. I will take care of her until end of life. That's just my thinking. And once you get that in your mind, you don't really need to think about that anymore,
No.
right?
No.
And hopefully they'll tell you the same thing. And if she doesn't, you need to go in the house and get that will and change it, right?
Yes, that's for sure. And obviously, we're just goofing around here, but
I'm not goofing around. Yeah, I am.
We've seen it happen. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that if something happens to Rob or as he gets older, that I'll have to take care of him. That's what I signed up for. I have no qualms about that. I'll be happy to do it. That's my job. We signed up for better, for worse, sickness and health, and that's what we plan to do. I mean, eventually, is the likelihood going to happen that I will have to help him out as he gets older? Well, sure. I mean, we're not silly. We know that somebody's going to have to help the other one out. We've seen it happen in my parents' relationship. We have a couple where we go to church. I'm not quite sure what has happened to his wife, but she's been in a wheelchair since the day I've known her. And he has always taken care of her, gets her in and out of the car. I've seen him at the grocery store together. They do everything together. And he's pleasant. He has absolutely no issues about that. But that's what they signed up for.
Do you know anybody like that?
Right.
If you do, leave it in the comments. I'd like to hear about that. And right now I'm going to tell you a quick story that I heard. Well, I'm in the story actually. When I was a young man,
I wasn't even the story.
Yeah, I'm
just
star.
Joking.
I wasn't even 21. Anyway, one of my first jobs, I worked with my father. All of me and my brothers, that was our first job, working with my dad. And so I noticed this guy that worked there also. He never said much. He seemed to be always foul. He was always like foul. And, you know, I'm naturally a friendly guy, so I try to talk to him or something like that. He didn't want to talk, and he would lose his temper real quick, you know, and he's just kind of a bad person to be around. That's what I thought. So I asked my dad, I said, what's the deal with Frankie? His name was Frankie. I said, why is he so foul? He's just mean. He seems like a bad guy. And my dad said, well, now, you know, you never know what that guy's going through now. I said, well, what do you mean? So he stopped and he said, look, Frankie married this girl when he was young. And right after they got married, within the first week, that girl fell ill. And this must have been 20, 25 years ago, because Frankie wasn't no young man. And he has been taking care of that woman ever since. And she's completely bedridden. And I said, really? And he says, well, yeah, think about it. He not only has to work, because you didn't have all these social programs to help people back then. Right. You were just, for the most part, on your own. And her being completely bedridden, he worked a job to make money. He had to go home. He had to cook. He had to clean. He assumed the responsibility of 2 roles. And he did that and had been doing it forever. So then after I heard that, I looked at him in a different way. And so when I approached him with a different demeanor, more of a understanding, helpful demeanor. And as time went by, he got nicer and nicer and nicer. And then he began to talk. And to come to find out, he was not a bad guy. He was actually a good guy. But by the stress of taking on both roles, that from time to time would just put him in a state of overload. And he seemed to be a little foul.
Understandably so. So, you know, and whether you're married or planning to get married, or if you're in a relationship with the age gap, those are things you need to think about. I mean,
yeah, you do need to think about them. You need to think about them long and hard, and you need to. If you can't do that, then by all means, walk away.
Right. You don't want to be begrudgingly taking care of someone that needs your help.
No.
I've seen it very close in my family, and I don't want someone taking care of me that doesn't want to be taking care of me, because that's a bad situation.
Oh, that would be bad. That would be, I couldn't imagine it.
Yeah.
That would be worse than somebody sticking you in a mean nursing home.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, how could you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, you're in there, and then people, they don't want to take care of you. They resent everything about you, and then they are your caregivers. Who wants to do that? I couldn't imagine anybody wanting to do that.
Yeah. I won't do that to you, and you won't do that to me.
I will haunt you. I would haunt you.
That's right. So anyways, just things to think about.
This is kind of a bummer.
It is a bummer, but I guess the point of this conversation is make your plan, know your plan, don't worry about it once it's set in motion, but then live your life and be as healthy and as mobile, and not just physically but mentally, so that when you both do get older, hopefully you don't have to worry so much about that or spend your time caregiving for somebody. But if you do, remember, that's your spouse. You signed up for it. And that would be exactly where I would want to be, taking care of him or him taking care of me.
And in the end, you need to ask yourself this question.
Yes.
Do I want to be haunted?
No, I don't. Let us know what you guys think about this conversation. Bye.